You know, when Noah shared that screen grab of how he felt after the finale of Stranger Things Season 4, I was worried that was going to be me. And it absolutely was. These last two episodes are emotional damage. How's everybody? So we're talking some Stranger Things today with Volume 2 of Season 4. I don't know about you guys, but I was so excited I had to watch these episodes the moment they dropped on Netflix. So if you're like that as well, congrats to you guys. I was very excited for these last two episodes of Season 4 because Season 4 has been so phenomenal. The stakes in every single one of the storylines being so high, I was so invested in how all these storylines would play out, while also being extremely nervous for some of these characters because I felt like some of these characters were not going to make it out of Season 4 alive due to the fact that we also did not screen this in advance. Netflix did not send these last two episodes out, whether it be because of the big reveal moments or just the fact that you didn't want anything leaked out. So we're all watching this at the exact same time together. Netflix wasn't playing though when it comes to these final two episodes of Season 4 because these felt like events, especially that last episode because it was like 2.5 hours long. That episode in particular, I think that would have been amazing to see in a movie theater just because these episodes, they're so cinematic and have so many great action sequences and big emotionally poignant moments that I think that a big roaring crowd would have made this episode even more phenomenal than it already was. There's so many storylines going on in these last two episodes. Inevitably, some of them do converge, so I might jump back and forth a little bit as I talk about all of the spoilers, but I loved almost every single one of these storylines. I think the only one I didn't absolutely love was probably the Hopper and Joyce stuff with the Russia team. Well, I do like the Russia team. I just feel like compared to all the other things going on in these episodes, it was the one that was least interesting. As somebody who's loved Joyce and Hopper together since the very beginning, it was great seeing them finally reunite and have those big, intimate, emotional moments together, and they finally kiss, which is something that also is a big thing that I wanted since the very beginning of the show. It's just that the story itself felt a bit frustrating because we finally get them to break out of the prison and they have to go back. They have to go back and take on the Demogorgon, all these other little Demogorgons just to help out 11 and them, which was awesome seeing Hopper fight the Demogorgon. It just, it just felt so redundant. There was not really too much for them to do in the storyline. Even with my gripes with that storyline, I absolutely loved every single other storyline going on. I think my particular favorite for most of it was our big group that we had with Eddie, Steve, Robin, Nancy, Dustin, and all them. They had so much screen time, and they really were like the calm before the storm with the last episode before the finale because they kind of were the main focus. All of their segments had so many heartwarming, hilarious moments because we saw so many great bonding moments between Steve and Nancy that kind of leaned on the flirtatious side. I love the moments between them in the woods when they're in the Upside Down when he pours his heart out to her. At the same time though, when he's talking about his future with all of his kids, I felt like that was like an indicator he was going to die. At that same exact time though, we had so many great moments with Dustin and Eddie on this journey, whether they're in the Upside Down or they're stacking up all the weapons to go into the Upside Down. You know, they're building shields together. They're having these heartfelt moments where Eddie tells Dustin to never change. I completely loved Eddie in these two episodes. I thought he had some of the best comedic scenes in both episodes. I was dying laughing when he put on the Michael Myers mask to go and hotwire the RV to take them away. And also the fact that he was really defending Iron Maiden in that scene where he said, "This is real music." Like, hell yeah, as someone that loves rock music, I'm glad that he is the biggest defender of it. As someone who wasn't a big fan of the California scenes in the first volume of Season 4, I think it was a little bit better in these last two episodes just because we are finally getting somewhere with them. I think the best emotional moment though was because of Will. I guess both big emotional scenes revolve around Will in some shape or form, but the one that really broke my heartstrings was when Will is talking to Mike, trying to boost his morale about his doubts about being with 11, while he's pretty much expressing his feelings to Mike in the process. I thought it was also beautiful how Jonathan pretty much accepts Will, even though Will didn't officially come out. I thought that was just, both of those scenes together were just so great, which is, great timing, I guess, with Pride Month ending that we have this kind of sorta coming out, but not really. I mean, I feel like the Duffer Brothers haven't done a great job addressing Will's sexuality in the show, but I guess this is like their best attempt at it. Other than those big emotional scenes, their storyline doesn't really get much better until 11 finally joins up with them later on. The stuff with 11 I thought was great. I'm so glad that she got her powers back, but Brenner is just being a big pain in the ass in these two episodes. He's such a frustrating character, and he continues to be so in these two episodes. When Brenner finally starts revealing details tales about Vecna and how Hawkins will fall if he keeps growing in strength. I'm actually loving the writing in these 2 episodes when it comes to how we're looping everything back to season 1 with Brenner and everything that went on in the lab. They did a great job tying it all together and making it all make sense between this stuff and also later on when Vecna reveals the rest of the plan. I thought that was really amazing how they did that. And it just goes to show when you have a full plan written out, it's pretty great. It's actually a much better way to make television. Despite how powerful Vecna is, I think it is extremely admirable that 11 doesn't care about that and is just going to do anything it takes to save her friends, even if Brenner's going to continue to try and get in the way, trying to sedate her and keep her there no matter what, threatening to kill Owens. I was glad, though, to see the military come in and kind of sort of save the day. I thought it was hilarious that Brenner thought he could somehow dodge the military. He ends up getting shot in the process. I mean, as a character, I've never been a big fan of Brenner. I'm sure there are some Brenner fans out there, but I really didn't mourn his death. I know they tried to make his death kind of emotionally poignant when he's talking to 11 as he's passing away, but I thought Brenner was kind of a jerk like the entire series so far, so I really didn't feel that way, but that's just me personally. I did think it was amazing seeing 11 get angry and take down the helicopter and just the big explosion that happens afterwards. Plus just the fact that we're finally getting some of these storylines converging with one another, because that's one of the things that bothered me in both of these episodes, that there's so many different subplots going on that we kind of take forever to get these groups back together. We've seen that before in previous seasons, and I think that it's almost at its worst in this season when it comes to finally having these groups come together. But when they are together, I think the show is better because of it. One of the things going into these episodes I did wonder about was how they could get 11 and all of them into Hawkins from California, because that's kind of a long distance there. I think that the way that they played it out was pretty well done. You know, we don't actually have to go to Hawkins, Indiana. We're just going to make a little deprivation tank in the back of a pizza place. She can piggyback into Max so she can fight Vecna that way. That was very clever. They keep surprising me in the way that things are so simplistic, but yet so well done in the process. Going into these last 2 episodes, I was psyched yet so nervous for all these characters to have these final battles, whether it be 11 facing off against Vecna finally, or the big group going into the Upside Down, when it's Steve, Robin, and Nancy going actually into the Upside Down, and you have Max and Lucas causing the distraction in the real world to try and get Vecna to chase after Max so they can kill him in the Upside Down. Kitty Sink has been so phenomenal as Max in this last season. That also continues into these couple episodes as well. I love the monologue that she has to try and lure Vecna to her, where she goes on and kind of reveals the truth about how she feels about her brother dying. That was a great monologue there. I know ever since that first trailer drop, we've all been speculating what big song Eddie was going to be playing on the guitar while he's in the Upside Down, and Master of Puppets, I think that's a perfect song to use because it came out in the same year the show is set in right now, 1986. It was really badass. Another emotionally poignant scene because he did say he was going to do this for Chrissy as he uses the guitar as a distraction to take on all the little demon Demogorgon bats. Maybe it's just me because I'm up super late watching these episodes as they drop, but that runtime for that final episode felt like forever. There were so many different things going on at the same exact time. It was sensory overload. There were so many different scenarios. I was so nervous for so many characters at the exact same time that I couldn't keep up with what was going on half the time. You've got the showdown between 11 and Vecna, the bats chasing after Eddie, Robin, Steve, and Nancy are stuck to the wall by the tentacles, Hopper's fighting the Demogorgon, Lucas is standing up to that bully. It's a lot of stuff going on at the same time. It's so much, and nobody is safe in all of these situations. It was so frustrating to me seeing Eddie go out in that way, because he could have perfectly survived the situation, and he just chose not to in the end when he sacrifices himself, chases the bats away from the situation to preserve Dustin, but he didn't need to die that way. It was an emotional death, but it's one of those frustrating things about Stranger Things. It seems like almost every single season, we always get a character that we absolutely love in the new season, and then they usually end up dead by the end. You know, Alexi, Eddie, Bob, I guess Barb as well, if you want to call her that, if she was popular, but it's getting kind of annoying, that trope. When it comes to the inevitable showdown between Vecna and 11, I thought it was pretty satisfactory. It wasn't like a super long, drawn-out fight, because, their power sets don't really kind of call for that kind of superhero action, but it did keep me on my toes, because it seemed like at certain points that they had one up on each other, and I was really nervous for Max in the situation because of the fact that Vecna strings them both up. Vecna has been such a fantastic fantastic villain all of this season. And I think that this monologue that he has when he explains everything to Eleven, I think really seals the deal here. Just goes to show he played the long game. He's cold, calculated, never wavering from what he's been planning this entire series so far. As we continue to learn more about his backstory and see the mind flare and the plan come to fruition, I got extra scared because Vecna started making Max float up in the air and her legs started bending and cracking and all of that ways. I thought this was finally it for Max, and it really looked that way for a while there, even after 11 gets that boost of energy thanks to Mike, using the power of love to have 11 kind of get that big burst of energy and take out Vecna momentarily. It still didn't look good for Max in the very end. I mean, even if she survived, she's pretty broken. Regardless, it was still a great visual seeing Vecna taken out that way by 11 while Nancy and all of them are taking him out, throwing Molotov cocktails and shooting a shotgun at him. Nancy was badass in that scene, I can't lie. Even if it really seemed like Max died there in Lucas's arms and we see the cracks start to form because the new gate opens when she's dying, it seems like 11 saved her in some shape or form. I mean, we never really know the extent of her powers, but it seems like at least in some shape or form, Max is still alive because she is in a coma later when we go see her in the hospital. Really interesting there. I wonder how that's going to factor into the final season, because now that we see all of the destruction in Hawkins and everything that's been taken out, it seems like with the things that we tease at the end, we're going to have Hawkins just be overrun by the Upside Down coming to them. Because I'm pretty certain that we're going to see Vecna once again with Will realizing that it's not officially over yet, and I feel like, that's going to be, he's like the big bad of the entire series now, so he has to come back. That has me very excited for the final season because it is the final season, this 5th one. I don't know inevitably when that's going to come. I know there's going to be a big time jump probably, so who knows what that's going to entail. Are we going to just see this Upside Down taking over Hawkins, just really in shambles with the time jump and all? It's really exciting stuff though. I did love to see the reunions in the end, because I said earlier on, like, the reunions, I mean, we waited till like the very last moment when we finally get all these characters back together in like the last 20 minutes or so. I mean, Hopper and 11 finally have this great reunion, but it's in like the last 15-20 minutes of the show. We see 11 and all of them finally meet back up. All of the kids are together, even if Max is in a coma in the hospital bed. We finally get the kids back together, all of them in the last 15-20 minutes or so. But that's just like a nitpick for me. I just wish that they were together as a whole more. But all around, both of these episodes were fantastic. They were cinematic, had so many great moments. But now you've heard my thoughts on Volume 2 of Stranger Things Season 4. Make sure you share your thoughts down below. What do you think of these 2 episodes? Did they live up to the hype for you? Did you like the episodes? Not like the episodes? Share all your favorite moments down below. And if you have any predictions on where we're going to go with the 5th and final season, share those down below as well. Thank you guys for always checking out the reviews. I really appreciate that. Make sure to like the video. Also, subscribe to the channel so you're always updated my reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more for the next time. I'll see you guys later.